Welcome to another edition of the Dolphin Chronicles. I am here with my boy, Alex. Alex, where can they find you on X?
Right down there, guys.
Right down there. And our boy, Mark, usually on False 9, but pinch hitting for our boy, Johnny, who life got in the way once again. So pinch hitting. You can find him on X at?
They know.
Man, Mark's got some skinny fingers, dude. I can't even. There we go. Yeah, that's me, guys, on X.
Alex joining us with his usual self, me as well, and then Mark joining us from his Miami mansion.
Look at that, man. We need to broadcast live from there.
I think we need to stop maybe half his paycheck and reroute it to us.
Yeah, we're gonna restructure your contract, Mark.
We have to negotiate some things then.
Yeah, I'll talk to the damn agent.
All right, guys. Now let's address the elephant in the room. We were supposed to have our boy Kyle Ubrick today, but some logistical difficulties got in the way. We will interview him sometime this week, and it will air Monday after the live version of the Dolphin Chronicles next week. So we should have that lined up.
Yes, we are going to talk to Kyle. Kyle's got a lot of things to say. I'm excited to chat with him. Nice thing, man. He's been super cool via DMs. He said he had something going on with his fiance, so I was like, man, I don't want to fuck that up for him, because it's his fiance, and he's been getting rained on outside freaking the Dolphins facilities trying to punt. So I don't want to mess that up. So whatever he's got going, I'm happy for him. We're just going to chit chat with him at a later time, and we're going to bring it to you guys. So.
Yes, sir. So this Saturday night, after some tenuous joint practice sessions, a lot of brouhahas at practice. The Dolphins took on the Washington Commanders. Before we get into the Dolphins, just going around the room, we'll start off with Mark. Impressions of Jaden Daniels.
I'm very impressed with the young man out of LSU. He's got a good arm. He can use his legs. It's gonna be I think it'll be a learning curve for him, just in the NFL with every NFL quarterback coming in as a rookie. But I think he can pick up the offense fairly quickly. He's got Terry McLaurin back there.
Yeah.
He's got Jahan Dotson. They brought in Zach Ertz. They drafted, I believe, a tight end from Kansas State, Ben Sinnott. They have Eckler and they have Brian Robinson. So they have some pieces, to help him out. So the simpler they make it for him and the easier he can comprehend the playbook and just comprehend and recognize certain defenses in the NFL and just get that traction going, I think he'll be just fine.
Alex?
Yeah, man. I agree with Mark. Impressive young man, and like you said, he's got some weapons, right? You saw him hit Terry McLaurin a couple times during the Dolphins game, right? And it looks like he's got some quick decision making. Obviously, it's going to take some time for him to, adjust to the speed of the game, right? But let's be honest, man. He dealt with some speed in the SEC. This is a guy that played against some big boys and some great competition in that conference. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys were, second in the NFC East. I don't know that they. I mean, what did the Cowboys do in the offseason? I mean, yeah, I just don't know, man. I think this team could give some of their division opponents some headaches. So, and obviously the kid's mobile. It's got a hell of an arm, like Mark touched on. Very well coached. It's a very well coached team. Let's not forget that, man. Dan Quinn is obviously a defensive mastermind. Got some head coaching experience, of course. But I think he's got enough weapons, enough young pieces, enough veteran pieces. You mentioned Austin Eckler. Right, that's a heck of a 1-2 punch in the backfield there. Right, Austin Eckler can hurt you catching the ball out of the backfield too. We know that from his days in LA. And then Brian Robinson, a very can be really explosive. So yeah, they might surprise some people in the NFC East.
Yeah, I think that they did a very good job knowing what was coming in terms of a rookie quarterback and surrounding him with some pieces. I think a very underrated piece for him is going to be what I think is going to be a safety blanket, someone who could have at the twilight of his career at the end a bit of a resurgence, and that's Zach Ertz. I think his signing is big in terms of development, knowing that you have a veteran pass catcher that you can rely on. When you need those third downs, kind of short yardage kind of situations, kind of that Travis Kelce, maybe not as explosive, but that Travis Kelce safety blanket for Daniels. Let's get right to it. First drive of the game. What'd you see, Mark?
Tua, man, 5 for 5, 51 yards. Quick decision making. If the first read was there, he was making it. He was throwing it. So that's where I kind of wanted to see where his improvement was. Also, the mobility, getting out of the pocket and making those throws, moving to his right. He was able to check down a couple times and then ended up hitting River Craycraft on a beautiful, beautiful just touch of a ball to the corner of the end zone. Nothing the cornerback can do. So the accuracy is still there. The touch is still there, but just we wanted to see the improvement on him getting the ball out quicker, making that first read, not holding it on too long and making a mistake in the second read and making a decision on the third read. If it wasn't there, he'd tuck it and, wasn't really getting a lot of yardage running or he gets sacked. So that quick decision making on that first drive, the precision, 5 for 5 coming out strong was an indication that he's been working on those certain things in camp on the off season. He looks a little slimmer, if I might say.
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, I agree. Leaner and meaner. Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
Man, I love how well he sold that play action or that handoff on that pitch to Jonnu. Had the fucking lineman shook. He didn't know where the hell he was going.
On that touch pass?
Yeah. On that play to Jonnu, and then also that completion to Julian Hill. Did you see him when he was rolling out under duress? Made a quick decision, hit Hill in stride. I think we converted a first down on that one. So yes, he looked leaner. Obviously, that first connection to Craycraft, right? That McDaniel alluded to in that in that quick interview on the sideline, and then that dime to Craycraft, man, he put it right on. He put it right on there. So yeah, the accuracy. He looked leaner. He was confident. He was loose, right? He didn't feel like he didn't look rattled or anything like that. And you can also see that after he exited the game. I mean, look how. Just confident. He looks like he's ready to rock and roll and ready to take that next step. I don't want to get too pumped up. It's a second game of the preseason, but I mean he showed us what we thought he was going to show us, and I was really happy that he was able to get that throw out. A year ago that may have been a sack for a freaking 10-yard loss.
Yeah.
And on Saturday night it was a completion for a first down. And hey, those little things, man, those are the changes. The margin of error is very small, right? So when you're competing against top teams, those kind of plays can win you a football game, right? So even if he makes those small little adjustments where it's, hey, the quick dump off instead of throwing it on the floor or grounding it or throwing it out of bounds or finding that outlet, that could be the difference between winning and losing. So. He looked great. I was happy and even more excited than I was before the game started.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of focusing on the highlights of that first drive. Everyone mentioned that play.
The lone touchdown drive. Yeah. The lone touchdown drive.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm talking about just the drive as a whole. I think everyone mentioned that play to Julian Hill. I think that in dropping the weight, Tua's agility, that ability to change of direction, ability to adjust arm angles, all of that with him being slimmer is easier for him to do. And I think it was on display there. And then, of course, everyone talks about that dime to River Craycraft. But if you look at the play carefully, he also had Jonnu Smith, where if he throws it to Jonnu Smith, I think Jonnu Smith can lay down, have a Mai Tai, and then still have enough time to walk into the end zone. We have that play here, and let's take a look at that.
Cuba Libre, bro.
And let's take a look at that touchdown, that dime from Tua.
Cue the video.
They're looking for River. End zone. He's got it. Touchdown. Oh, Tua, that's a beautiful throw, and he's dancing, and River Craycraft hauls it in.
So, yeah, that clearly a great throw. And it reminds me something, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Brian Dable that said it, where he said every quarterback can hit the barn at a house. You have some quarterbacks who can hit the door, and even fewer quarterbacks who can hit the doorknob. Tua can hit the keyhole. So I believe it was Brian Dable that said that, and he put it on display there in that.
That's deep. I like that.
Hey, credit Brian Dable. He said that, and I think it was in response to the Tyreek Hill throw, which was very similar to that in the first game last season against the Chargers. Was that the game winning? Yeah, the one in the corner
when he stepped up in the pocket and late in the game, and that was the third and long conversion, I think, too.
Was it for the touchdown?
It wasn't for the touchdown, no.
No, there was two. He hit him deep on a go route, post route.
No. The one I'm talking about is that the one where he put it in the corner.
No, he did. He hit him for a game-winning touchdown.
So, that was the highlight of the game, as the rest of the game was what, 3 field goals?
A couple field goal misses and a lot of punts, and
yeah,
it was
not a special team. We got to see special teams, so
a freaking snooze fest.
Absolutely.
But we did get some good play from our rookie class. McMorris, I think I saw him step up to.
Your boy Kamara.
Muhammad Kamara got a sack. Yeah, Mo Kamara. Chop got in there too and wrecked some havoc.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you guys think about Chop? Because he got some run against the ones.
He's the quickness stands out. It's just the physicality, and he just needs to put on a little weight, I'm going to say, but you can tell the quickness is there. I mean, I think you guys said it last show or the show before that he's going to be going up against, he's going to be in the trenches or in there quicker than he expected with, the injuries to Chubb and, Barrett retiring and Phillips, still.
That quickness alone will be impactful, right? Because we forget you don't see on the score sheet those plays that he forces the back to come in, to come inside, and then bam, he's in the hands of one of our big uglies. It's those plays that you don't see on the stat sheet, right? If he can hold the edge, right? If he can get in there and wreak some havoc, and just make the quarterback throw it a half a second sooner than he wants to. That's where the speed comes in, right? And you saw that, right? You saw that explosiveness. I'm excited about both those guys, man, Kamara and freaking Chop. And you know what? I see kind of like an emergence of Channing Tindall. If we can continue to use him right, I think he might have one of those years where he just kind of breaks out. Is what we've been waiting for, right?
Yep.
I'm excited about that defense again. Kind of, the bend don't break defense where we've been able to make the plays when necessary. I thought Storm Duck did well in coverage again. It's his physicality. Fighting with the receiver in those pass breakups. He got a couple pass breakups, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think our defense played well, given it was against the Commanders. Hey, but Trace McSorley was it's not a terrible quarterback. This guy, can sling the ball. That's who we were playing against there towards the end of the game, McSorley. So I think
someone who absolutely shitted on some of the backup candidates we mentioned in that show is going to come on this show and say Trace McSorley.
Uh-oh.
Dude, Trace McSorley looks better than Skylar Thompson and Mike White right now.
Dude, come on, man. Come on. That's not true.
I kind of like Trace McSorley, He's not he's no Taylor Heineke, but
are you itching for him to give you a swirly?
No. But I'm just saying it wasn't against like, Alex Bustillo, fucking 40-year-old journeyman fucking backup. It was against, a guy who can sling the ball. I mean, McSorley's been known to sling the ball around the field, and
McSorley hasn't seen the field since Penn State.
No, bro. He saw some action with the Ravens, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But hey, let's carry on.
Yeah, so Chop Robinson really shined during that game. I think Alex brought up Channing Tindall. I'm a little bit lower on expectations with him. I think that he's a package defender where on third down, if you need a blitz, he's going to be in there. What are your thoughts on Channing Tindall, what you've seen from him this preseason, Mark?
I mean, I think I agree with you with where he's a package player right now, but if Weaver can get the best out of him, this guy was a starter at Georgia. He's got some talent. It's just at the end of the day, it's about coaching, and if he can develop and become an everyday linebacker. I mean, sure, he can survive now being on the special teams, but in reality, if he can develop into a 3-down linebacker, into more of a package player, like you said, it'd be great for this team. It's just how much can he develop at this point it's still early in his career, so hopefully the change in defensive coordinator and the little scheme, he can see the field a little more.
Yeah, let's remember Weaver was the linebacker coach at the University of North Texas, and he's got that background where he can work with those linebackers. And like you said, Byron, maybe put a package together where Tindall can, I'm not asking Tindall to be, fucking Zach Thomas.
No.
Just giving us a little bit more. And I've already seen that in this preseason more than what he's given us in the past. So just seeing that alone is refreshing, right? I think there's something there. I think the coaches have found a way to use them, like we just specified, right? And that again is huge, right? What's Weaver's thing, right? Fresh legs, right? Boom. Yeah. Keep the defense fresh, right? So that's a piece. So if we continue to see what we've been seeing from Channing Tindall in the preseason against starters, then hey, that's a win for me. I don't need Channing Tindall to be fucking Andrew Van Ginkel, I just need him to be that guy that he's been so far against starters.
Right. So moving on to that was some of the positives. Now moving on to some of the negatives in that game. All game long, I saw just piss poor offensive line play. For the exception of that Tua drive, and even Tua had to do that.
No, even in that Tua drive, before that Tua dime to Craycraft, we were unable to create space for a short yardage, right? We continue to struggle in short yardage. I'm glad that McDaniel stuck with it. We picked up a first down on that drive on a third and short, but then that dime to Craycraft was on fourth down, right? So yeah, there's still some struggles there. My main concern, though, I think we'll get those ironed out. My main concern is now a Brewer is hurt, is he not? Isn't Aaron Brewer?
Yeah, but he's more of a, hey, you're hurt. If it was during the season, you might man up and tough through it. But it's preseason. Go home and have a go libre. Because
I think the quarterback and center exchange, which has been a problem. It's come up a few times during practice and during the game, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a concern. We did see that Eichenberg kind of got tossed around like a wet
experiment.
Yeah. But no, I mean, hey, we've asked him to do a lot. And he's filled in admirably.
We've asked him to be competent. It's not a lot.
Well, I think he gets a lot of bad rap, but I think he's going to be fine. I don't think we need to panic about Eichenberg. Let's look it up. The proof is in the pudding, man. He's when he's been asked to show up and fill some gaps and fill some holes. We're able to mask that, right? Our quick hit offense can mask a shitty offensive line.
Is this
right?
is this like asking Julian Gressel to play midfield?
Yeah, here we go.
My
Fucking
Lord, here we
Inter Miami ref.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what
I
it
had
is.
to throw it in, but Alex, I agree with you. And you know, he's been piss poor at times, but you know, with the rotating door of offensive linemen that we've had in the past year, injuries
Yeah.
and stuff and we've
The
managed.
guy's
Like you
been
said,
one of
we've
the
managed.
freaking staples in the line.
We've
You
we've
know,
managed to mask it, and we've managed to get through it.
if anything, his
Um,
durability we
yeah,
should give him some props for
that's
that.
what stands out. Yeah, he's available more than anyone
Yeah.
on the O line.
You
Granted,
know,
it's
I like
yeah.
Kendall Lamb. Kendall Lamb stepped in there, got the start. I think. I think he played well. You have in here that Patrick Paul struggled. I didn't really see some of the footage maybe that you're seeing. I know he came off a good game. He had a good game in the first preseason game.
He struggled with speed in this game. He got a lot of to bring in a basketball term, he got Euro stepped a lot where you fake one way, and I mean he's huge, so he goes one way, the defender takes a quick step the other way, and Patrick Paul is still going the first way while the defender has a free run to the
He's a mountain of a man.
Yeah.
But yes, against a quicker, a shiftier linebacker defensive end, he's gonna struggle. But again, I think our offensive line coach did marvels. Butch Berry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did marvelous last year with what he had, and I think we've gotten better. I think we've upgraded the offensive line a little bit from where we were at the end of last year.
Okay, Alex. Mark. Sorry.
I agree. You know, bring the thing with the Dolphins the past couple of years, and you guys can probably agree, has been the inability to field a competent O line at times, and then that diminishes the ability for us to run the ball. So it makes us one dimensional in throwing the ball. McDaniel has brought in coaches now with Butch Berry who have developed an O line with makeshift guys playing out of position last year. We had probably the top three center being graded by PFF, and Connor Williams got with an ACL. We had Armstead out for a couple games, and we made do. I continue to like Paul. He's a mountain of a man, like Alex said. We just got to work on the mobility, get his hands on the guy early, reroute him, give Tua enough time. So I do think that we're continuing that process of trying to field the best O line, and Paul's just is going to be a contributor on that part.
I think Austin Jackson has gotten better.
Yeah.
Well,
right. Obviously,
we'll touch on Austin Jackson a little bit later because he's going to come up in one of the topics we'll discuss.
Let's remember that Isaiah Wynn, right? Is it Isaiah Wynn should be available, and he was top before he went out with an injury last season. He was up there, so that line is going to look a lot better come that first week against Jacksonville. We're going to have hopefully a healthy Teron Armstead, Austin Jackson, and Eichenberg, a healthy Aaron Brewer, and Aaron Brewer's shifty too. He's good with fits within our offense and what we want to do.
Well, he's a mauler. I really hope that Aaron Brewer comes back. If not, we are going to see this a lot. And I will cue up the tape. Liam Eichenberg just absolutely whiffs, and Jonnu Smith makes the tackle on Raheem Mostert for what turns out to be.
Can you play that?
He went forward. Okay, he went forward.
Okay, one more time. What are you guys going to critique it? Here we go.
I just want to. Can you just pause it on Liam Eichenberg? Start it again and just pause it. Oh my! On the point of attack, the guy got beat. Look at he's already beat. Start. Start it. Beat. He's beat. He is beat right there.
No, yeah, 100%. And I mean, if you see on the left-hand side, that blitzing, so the left guard and the left tackle do an excellent job of double teaming the defender that's in front of them. The play here is for Jonnu Smith to collapse that blitzing. I don't know if he's a linebacker or a corner, so that Raheem can either go up the middle or cut it back. The problem is Eichenberg gets beat, and Jonnu Smith gets dragged. That's right here. If you play,
right, Eichenberg, the play's blown up already.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Eichenberg's falling forward. This guy's got a free run at Mostert while the edge is literally pulling in Johnny Smith to collapse, and there's nowhere to run.
right.
Smythe held his block. Look at Smythe.
Yeah, I mean, Smythe is consistent on that.
Yeah,
Could Mostert bounce this outside?
he probably can hit that hole.
Hit it.
And Smith, between Smythe and Smith.
No, just hit play.
Hit play, yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I don't know. That corner is kind of holding the edge behind Smythe's block. I don't know. To cut that back.
But the thing is that if Smythe holds the line,
it's got to be a hell of a plant, Barry Sanders type cutback in order for him to hit that little hole that Smythe and Smith may have created for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Smith is getting dragged, so I don't know about Smith creating a hole, but that is
because that guy is right in Mostert's face already. The guy that Smith, he missed that block.
Yeah. So that's the type of offensive line play we are going to be seeing if we can get Brewer back. What were some other positives that you guys saw in the game?
Cam Smith. I thought he had a great Cam Smith. I mean, I love the draft pick when we drafted him. Never really got the opportunity last year.
I think he was more around the ball when he needed to be. He got hurt a little bit. I think it's a hamstring.
He is week to week.
I think and he was up against a top 10 receiver easily in Terry McLaurin. I know McLaurin got him to the outside on one completion, but he looked more confident. He was playing with more instinct, and that's always good. He didn't look scared.
Freer.
So I like that. That's very promising. I just hope he's not, that injury is not a nagging injury. That training room is going to be busy this morning.
Start wrapping ankles, wrapping hammies, ice baths, everything.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree with this point. I agree with Cam Smith, your assessment on it. I mean, if he can turn into a CB3, CB4, and throw him in the dime package nickel, if one of the guys goes down, I'd feel comfortable having him in there.
Well, if you're able to throw Fuller, if you're able to play Smith on the outside in that dime package, it allows you to play your two best inside guys, because at this point, I think the Dolphins roster is filled with inside corners. I think Nick Needham, although he's making a transition to safety, is a great inside corner. Fuller is a great inside corner, and Kader Kohu are great inside corners. I think we are missing that outside corner besides Jalen Ramsey, but I do think that if Cam Smith develops, he can be that guy, and then that makes that defense very, very scary.
That much more scary, yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I saw. I saw the emergence of your boy Eric Ezukama, who was on a milk carton up until this past game. What do you guys think?
Easy E. I just hope he's healthy, man. He can really add another dynamic to this team with his speed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Craycraft too. Craycraft is has been battling injuries. So,
well, Craycraft is going to be out for a significant amount of time, but McDaniel said in his presser that it was not season ending.
Okay,
and that's disheartening, because especially what you saw out of Craycraft, in that game, again, that injury bug, man. It's and I don't know, can Izukama, stay off the injured list, right? Because we already lost a Taj Washington kid out of USC for the year. What was Malik Washington?
No, Taj is the one who we lost for the year.
Right, no, but Malik really hasn't shown me a ton, unless I totally missed something. He's going to be more of a return specialist type deal.
Well, okay, so that brings this up. How do you see the receiver room shaping up at this point? We all know that you have Tyreek Hill is your number one receiver.
1 and 2 are set. 3,
I
Odell
think-
Beckham Jr.
That's what we signed.
4
Berrios?
turns into.
I think
Berri-
Honey Berrios is your fourth best receiver.
He
clearly.
didn't look great against Washington.
I think that his first game back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to play a bigger role in the return game, honestly. I mean, having him as a fourth receiver is good. He's sure hands at times. Get the short yardage.
I think he did very, very well last season when
I like the idea of that Mike Harley, man. He had an opportunity late in that game. Mike White found him deep, but he dropped it. But that's the leading receptions guy for UM, man, and UM can produce some receivers.
I think it's disheartening that you say that because I think Harley's a jab.
Oh
Just the
man,
body.
I with his speed, man, with his speed in this offense, man, I'd love for him to be able to do something. Obviously, it's a stretch, but
I think if Easy E can get, I'm gonna call him that, Easy E. I don't know why I like it. Can get healthy enough to find the field and consistently be someone to produce for us in gadget packages and misdirections and reverses. He's quick, he's got hands, and we can use that. I mean, there are times that teams are gonna load the box on us and we need a quick pass and something over the middle quickly. He can do it.
Yeah, one of the things that was disheartening for me was the play of Will Snead. When they signed him, I was like, okay, a veteran. He's usually got speed with the Saints. He was a sure-handed guy for Drew Brees, and just terrible things that I saw from him. I didn't think he was going to make the 53, and lo and behold, today he gets put on injured reserve. That leads us into some transactions that the Dolphins did today. They did put Will Snead on IR, and they waived Ezekiel Vanderberg. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Vandenberg, yeah. He was showing me something, but he couldn't stay on the field either. He got hurt in that first game and got hurt in that second game. But
McDaniel brought out the raid and got rid of the unkillable roach that was Salman Ahmed on this roster. With those moves, the Dolphins signed Xander Horvath, Anthony McFarland, who was with Tampa, I believe, Daquan Jackson, and Sean Harlow. What are your thoughts on the cuts and designations? And who the hell besides McFarland are the guys we signed?
Yeah.
And sorry, McFarland was with Pittsburgh, not Tampa.
Exactly. Anthony McFarland. Is that a running back?
Yes, he was with Pittsburgh.
Oh, my God. Where'd he go to college? He was supposed to go to Miami. He ended up going to, I don't know, say Maryland, maybe? I know that name. If I remember him from college, from high school, college and stuff, quick back. I don't think he makes. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna make that the running back room with the guys we have. Honestly,
these are gonna be
a practice squad. I mean, yeah, these are all practice squad signings. I'm gonna say, no one really bothered me that got cut. Like you said, Willie Snead didn't really show me anything to be deserving of a roster spot. So.
Yeah, he went to Maryland. That's a good call by you.
Yeah,
wow. I know soccer and college
football. No
football.
mention of him and UM.
No, okay, but I think UM was like going after him, as a high school recruit.
I'll look it up now. But anything else stand up to you from the transactions, Alex?
No, just formalities, man. Obviously, I still have some concerns. I'm going to be honest. After wide receiver 3, and even at wide receiver 3, I have some concerns. What are we going to get? What are we going to get out of OBJ? What OBJ are we getting? It's a guy that wanted to come here. Let's be honest. A lot of veterans want to come here, right? Calais Campbell, right? They offered him more, but he chose Miami. Obviously, he's got some roots down here, right? He played at the U, but guys want to come here, right? But I still have some concerns about OBJ and his availability, right? We talked about this the last show. And I have some concerns about the durability of guys like Izukama, Craycraft. Again, man, show us. Yeah, that's great, but fuck, you got to be available on Sundays. And now he's going to be out for an undisclosed amount of time. I just obviously every team deals with injuries, man, but I don't know that we have a ton of depth in this wide receiver room outside of our top two guys. And our and Waddle has been, there's Waddle fought some injuries last year, right? So I have some concerns there, man. I'm glad we got a Jonnu Smith, that could potentially take some, take some attention away, and maybe Waddle and Hill get a little less beat up. I don't know, and we have we like Julian Hill a lot. This is a young man that I think can continue to grow. But I don't know about Braylon Sanders. I don't.
Jobs.
So I have some concerns, man. I don't know.
I have concerns. I think my concerns are different than injury wise because that's always a concern with like every team I follow, especially being in Miami.
Sure.
But I understand speed kills, and we're probably the fastest receiving room in the NFL. But man. I understand that the big body we have is Jonnu Smith and we may play him out wide, but I really want that big body receiver. I don't know. I just like some guy to go up there and go get the ball.
I really wanted Claypool to work out, dude. Claypool, man, if that guy, gave us just a little inkling of what,
that first year in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Who's out there? Is there anybody available that we can snatch up?
We have $39 million in cap room, so
do we need to go after freaking some USF players?
Is Plaxico Burress available?
Stop it. Justin Blackman?
Not a bad oh my God.
What does Josh Gordon have in the tank?
Oak State, right?
Oak State, Jacksonville, never made it past Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That guy was a Biletnikoff winner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some injury updates. Craycraft upper body injury. Like we said, he's going to miss significant time, but it's not season ending. Chris Brooks entered concussion protocol. He still is in protocol.
I like him. I really like Chris Brooks. And then waving Savon Ahmed gives him a little bit of hope. I like his physicality, man.
Quickly, where do you like him on the depth chart? Above or below Jalen Wright?
Below.
Yeah, below.
He would be your fourth running back, which in my eyes is.
Do you think Jeff Wilson holds on to that third running back spot?
I don't know, man. I didn't see a whole lot from Wilson. He's got. I think he's lost a step. He dropped a couple easy ones against. Was it Atlanta that we played the first game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have Jeff Wilson being cut because I have.
You have him being cut.
Yeah, Mostert, HN, Wright, and Brooks. That's 4. But we usually only carry 3. So I say Brooks is a practice squad stash.
God, I really like Brooks. I think he can help us in those short yardage situations. I really do. He's a physical back, and he's shown me a lot, man. And he can break it too. He can be explosive too if we need him to.
I mean, if the Roach got cut, you're in trouble in the running back room.
So what now?
If the Roach got cut, the running back room is in good hands.
Oh, man, Ahmed. Don't knock my boy Savon Ahmed, man.
All I think about is silence. Kill you. Every
Jeff
time
Dunham?
I think of
this guy.
Huh?
Jeff Dunham?
Yes, absolutely. What was I? Braylon Sanders, gentleman Alex doesn't like, has a lower body injury. He's week to week. And then Cam Smith has a hamstring. My guess is we won't see him until week 1. Now that we've gotten all the formalities out of the way, let's talk about our boy Tua. We'll start off this way. The debate has always been, is Tua a top 10 quarterback, right?
Certainly.
I present to you evidence that he's not a top 10 quarterback. he's top 5. Look at last season in every meaningful statistical category.
And we kept them upright with a shitty offensive line, mind you. Look at that stat at the bottom. 59 times. Fewest in the league.
So what are your thoughts on these stats and the narratives surrounding Tua being a top 10 quarterback? And some people don't even have him there.
Let's remember that touchdown number. How many times did he even play in the? There's a couple games he didn't even play in the fourth quarter,
right?
Right, or even fucking against Denver. I mean, did he play like the second half at all, or what? I don't even know if he played. Anyways, but that could have easily been 35, 36 touchdown passes. Mm-hmm. You know, if our offense isn't as explosive and we're not trying to preserve them, right? For those, because we had those fears, right? Oh, can he play an entire season? Right. So that was, you know, now that that's behind us and he's shown us that he can play an entire season. Now he's leaner, he's meaner, he's going to be able to utilize his feet more. We made some upgrades to the offensive line. I mean, those numbers can only improve, man. We've given him more weapons, right? We've invested in protecting him a little bit better. And then now yet another year in McDaniel's offense. And he's got this down. That all that stuff should go up this year. Obviously,
No, I agree.
I mean, there's no evidence against that. You know, 272 yards a game. I mean, yeah, maybe we focus on the run a little bit more. We stick to the run game a little bit more this season. You know, but that should still be around there. He's going to have 300, 350, 400 yard passing games. So, you know, that rating, that's going to stay up there. I mean, I think all those numbers either stay exactly the same or get better.
What are your thoughts on this, Mark?
I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but I can see why people obviously say he's not. You know, certainly that touchdown number can be higher. You know, we had a couple games where Tyreek Hill dropped a touchdown. You know, the play calling wasn't suited to the occasion in the red zone or something like that. The biggest thing with Tua is, and the offense in general, because as the offense goes, Tua goes, we just shut down against good teams. I need to see him perform against, you know, keep us in a game, get us out of the mud against the big teams. And that's not solely on him, it's the offense.
Right, that's complimentary football, right?
It's yeah. So the numbers say he's a top 5 quarterback. I mean, for me, he's certainly top 10. I don't know if there's 4 guys.
Now we have it on paper. Now it's just got to play out on the field.
Yeah, it's got to be played out. Like 29 touchdowns, I could easily be 35 this season. Like you said, 275 yards, 300 yards.
He could flirt with 40 touchdown passes this season.
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
100%. It's just going to come down to the structure of the offense in certain games and how we and how we come out. Like we can't roll over and be pushovers against big teams.
Right. So we're going to get into the big topic that happened earlier, but before I do that, I just want to play a clip that we have where we're going to get into the Brian Flores stuff, but for context, I do have a clip where even McDaniel takes a shot at Tua, and I'll play it here.
I was happy with it. We had the same play, the first play of the drive, as we did last year in Houston, and he completed it instead of throwing a pick, so that was a good start.
What do you guys think about that? I mean,
it's just Mike McDaniel being Mike McDaniel, man. Yeah. You know, they're at a point in that relationship where they both can fuck around with each other like that. You know, and you know, that was just Mike being Mike, dude. The guy is, you know, you never know what the fuck's gonna come out of his mouth at any given time, which is great, man. He's just like he's crazy. But Tua's extremely confident, more confident now than he's ever been. But Yeah, the whole thing about Flores. I mean, we already knew all that. Now it just kind of, Miami guy and Dan Levitard had him on the show, and now it's out. Now it's out in the news again. I mean, I don't know that this was. I didn't like it for the Dolphins. I could have done without it, because I
Without
had
what,
already.
the interview?
Yeah, I had already moved past that. I mean, it's great. It's great for Dan, right? Dan's that type of journalist that he likes to dig and uncover stuff, and I can appreciate that about him and the way he goes about his show and stuff. But I mean, I don't think it was necessary. I would have rather not had that interview happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're already in year 3 of McDaniel. This is
Yeah.
old news. I mean,
Why the fuck are we still bringing up Brian Flores?
we're getting ready for the season. I'm sure. I mean, Tua's probably tired of this. He was probably tired of the talk.
Yes,
You know,
he's
he doesn't
tired of
care
hearing
for.
about that bullshit. Great that
You
he
know,
came out and said what everybody
yeah.
already thought. Hey,
Yeah.
Flores thought you fucking sucked.
Yeah.
That's why he kept fucking putting Fitzy in and still kind of pussyfooting around stuff. We already knew all that. It sucks for Tua, but yeah, why continue to bring it up?
I'll tell you why I disagree with both of you on this take. As you guys know, Flores went on the Pivot.
Another podcast, yeah.
Right, and he gave his side of the story. One of the cast members from the Pivot, Omar Kelly, was a beat writer for the Dolphins. He
Still
was
a beat
on
writer.
the panel. I think he's a little bit more than a beat writer, but yeah, he was on the panel, and
Which, by the way, I don't think that Omar is much of a Tua fan. Let's be honest. Omar,
I disagree. I think Omar would bang the table for Tua, but this is what this is what Omar said in regards to the Brian Flores episode on the Pivot. He said Flores and his camp had final say on the editing, which is what had to be agreed to get the interview. So it wasn't worth my time to go rounds with him if it wasn't going to hit the cutting room floor. Omar Kelly got questioned as to why he did not hold Brian Flores'
feet to the fire.
Correct. And this was the explanation he gave. What came out of the Pivot was very much a crock of shit. Now, nothing had been said in concrete to talk to that Flores time with Tua. People said injury. People said that they didn't have a good relationship, but nothing was ever said to confirm or deny. Everything I've heard is that Tua wasn't the only player on that team on offense that felt that way about Flores. Now, everything I've heard from defenders, he was the greatest coach in the world. And that's why I think he's flourishing as a DC. But as a head coach, and like you said, Tua was on the Dan Levitard show, and we do have a clip that kind of Tua speaks about his time with Flores here. Let's
explain to us the difference in practical terms between having a coach who did believe in you the way that he did and the difference between that and what was happening with Flores.
Yeah. Well, to put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you
you suck
at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad, and you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear, or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening. And it was, I mean, it's basically been 2 years of training that out of not just me, but a couple of the guys as well that have been here since my rookie year all the way till now.
We all had the same.
So that's Tua's version, and I ask this of you guys: had McDaniel or that coaching style been a part of Tua from day one, are we talking about Tua in the same breath as the top tier guys, the Burrows, the Lamars, the Patricks? Well, no, let me rephrase that. The Burrows, the Lamars, the Josh Allens, because I believe Patrick is on a tier all by himself. But do you think that having Flores as a coach has hindered Tua's development to a point where we may only now be scratching the surface of what he can be?
Well, of course. I mean, that's. I mean, it's been proven, right? We saw Tua with Flores. Now we've seen Tua with McDaniel. We've seen the leap, right? And so we've made the connection. Yeah, maybe it came from the top. Maybe it wasn't all Flores, right? But it's obvious. But I'm so done talking about it that, I mean, why are we trying to focus on something? Now it's a little bit more out in the open because, the podcast and all that stuff. But yes,
I'll tell you why it's important. Mark, what are your thoughts on what Tua said?
Mark froze.
Oh, Mark froze. Okay, so since we're trying to get Mark back, as soon as he comes back, we'll bring him back on. But here's what I say now to you. If we had to backtrack in terms of Tua's development was such a negative. Has he joined us back? Can you hear us, Mark? No, not yet. So, wait, is he back?
I think he's switching from Wi-Fi to Ethernet connection.
So here's my thought. If we started with Tua when McDaniel got here in a negative development area, we've gotten back to zero and are now just getting positive, right? The money we just offered Tua, which I'll say it, I was against a lot of the time giving him that money. Sometimes not that he didn't deserve it, but I just thought it was a lot of money. It's a 3-year contract. Either next year when the first year kicks in or that second year, will we be talking about one of the biggest bargains in sports if what this new evidence presented speaks to in terms of his developmental timeline?
Potentially, right? But only time will tell, right? So we already know that yes, his progress was definitely limited, and his talent was questioned, his ability was questioned, and like he said, regardless of who you are, if you're a top tier athlete, which he was coming out of college, right? This is a guy that won a national championship. This is a guy that was in a fantastic program, very well coached, coming from a legendary coach in Nick Saban, right? To a world of difference in Brian Flores. He came in with super, super high emotions, expectations. Then you have someone telling you, like you said, day in and day out, hey, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. Whether that was actually verbal or whether it was by his actions, right? And it's definitely an impact to someone's growth, right? Because at your job, right? If you have your boss telling you every day, hey, you're doing this wrong, but he or she or they aren't helping you improve and showing you the way, they're just kind of beating you down, then you get worn out, you get beat down. And no matter how good of a work ethic you have, or no matter how talented you are, or what skill set you have, it's going to be a chore. And it was a chore
to quit a boss like that.
Huh?
It took me 30 days to quit a boss like that.
Yeah. Some people do it sooner than others. Some people just hang around, right? Tua he's a big family guy. We know this, right? So he's not he's not flashy, right? He's one of those guys that's he screams loyalty, right? This is a guy that for what we know is loyal, right? Loyal to an organization, loyal to a fault sometimes, right? He was loyal to the team that drafted him, and he was trying to make things work when the people above him that could help him grow weren't doing the same. So yes, it's obvious there's that hindered his progress, and yes, had he started with Mike McDaniel, he might be, like you said, top 3, top 4 guy in the league.
What are your thoughts on what Tua said, Mark?
Yeah, I think it did hinder him a lot. Honestly, going from 2 years and 3 OCs under one head coach that didn't like you.
Yeah, we don't even talk about the OCs. Good call out.
Having the inability to have a competent receiving core, offensive line, everything played into,
Yeah.
That all messes with your mentals and, oh, I got to get the ball a lot quicker since I don't have this. I got to put the ball perfectly here. I got to do this. And then now comes in McDaniel, and you're just brought in with this breath of fresh air of, you have a guy who's offensive minded, who speeds up the offense to something you've played with. Let's remember, Tua made the biggest throw of his life as a freshman coming into the game at Alabama and threw a game-winning touchdown for the national championship against Georgia. Yeah. He threw a perfect ball to Devontae Smith. Against probably guys who I can't remember who the corner was, but probably in the league by now.
Clemson?
No, it was against Georgia.
Georgia, okay.
So all those guys were in the league. He made the biggest throw of his life on a dime. So the talent was always there, but having hindered him with the 3 OCs that I mentioned, Godsey and I can't remember the other one. I can't remember the other guy's name, but
who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And then really having that carousel of, okay, this game you're starting, okay, not this game. Fitzpatrick coming in, we're going to open up the playbook. You're in, we're going to dumb down the playbook. You could tell when the playbook was open for him, when the playbook was not. He couldn't make the throws. The arm strength was always there. And now you bring in Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and guys, and now he's flourishing in a new offense where a guy's behind him. The entire organization is behind your head coach is behind you. So the numbers are getting better. He's getting better. I do think it did hinder him, but I don't think he'd be in the same category as Mahomes. He can be in the same category as those tier 2 guys.
Okay, so here's the question I asked Alex. Given the fact that, as Alex said, it's now obvious that Flores, in his development chart timeline, put him in a negative area in terms of being worse off than 0. If McDaniel got him from negative to 0, and now we're seeing a positive slope in his development chart, will the contract, and I was telling him that even I had doubts, I've had concerns about giving him this amount of money that he now has. Will we be saying that this is the biggest bargain in sports 2 years from now?
The big games have to be won for us to say that.
Yeah.
You can't say that. You can't cash checks that you don't know if he's going to cash.
Yeah, the market's reset every time.
If he wins a Super Bowl, 100. Yeah. If he wins a Super Bowl, yes.
If he gets to an AFC Championship game.
Yeah. If he gets a bowl, okay, this next season, then yes, he could say, hey, that's a hell of a bargain.
In this contract.
This contract's 4 years. Yeah, get it done.
Okay.
5 years, 4 years.
An AFC Championship game.
No, an AFC Championship game doesn't do it. They're signing him because they think that this is the guy who could elevate the team and take him to a championship, right? So an AFC Championship is not the championship they're referring to. They're talking about a goddamn Super Bowl. So if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, right, then we're not discussing a bargain. If he wins the Super Bowl, then we're like, oh fuck, maybe the Dolphins were right about this guy. Maybe he's still climbing. Maybe the ceiling is still. Maybe he's still climbing. Maybe he's continuing to develop, and now he's going to get even more comfortable. Now he's going to do this shit with his eyes closed. At that, yes, then maybe.
Please be realistic. He's lefty.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, time will tell, man. The season has to be played out. There's so many factors, but like I said, like I always say, I always will say about this team, they need to win the big games.
Okay, agreed. It's been fun. Thanks, Mark, for pinch hitting for.
I got you.
Donnie.
Little backup quarterback.
Absolutely, our own
He's
Skyler.
a lot better than Mike White and Skylar fucking
Don't
Thompson.
you call me Skylar Thompson. Take that back.
All right, guys. For Alex, where can they find you?
Hey, on X, TX_TSB, guys. I talk a lot of
Mark.
shit. I go round and round, but it's fun. I'm a fun follow, I promise.
Mark, where can they find you?
Right there.
Look at him.
Awesome.
I
So
got it. It's beautiful.
for the Kendall Sports Network, please remember we're on every Monday for the most part, 7:30 p.m. False 9 every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Also, this week in Miami, whenever Alex and I can get together to be able
Let's
to.
be honest. The shit's gonna start getting fun here in just a little bit, right?
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of off-season crap, and
Yeah,
now we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, Panthers, Heat, a lot coming through, especially now in the fall. For everybody here in the Kendall Sports Network, Johnny, we miss you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.
Ends up.